Hey everybody, this is Steven from PopCultureMaven.com. We're back with this week's new comic book reviews. So now, before we get started, WonderCon was last weekend, and it was really a good show. I think we're still struggling. There were really no publishers that showed up. And there was a few things in the arena, but not really that much this year. A lot of it was very comic centric, which was really good. I did record some of the spotlight panels, Tom King, Mitch Gerard's, and some others that hopefully I'll get edited soon, and we'll get those up on YouTube. And it was really a good show. I did have a really good time. It was very quiet on Friday. Friday was probably the best day to go. Pretty quiet on the floor. Saturday was super busy. Usually Saturday is the busiest day. Sunday was kind of in between Friday and Sunday. But overall it was really good. Obviously the Funko booth was a 3-ring circus, as it always is, but our artist alley was hopping. Tons of creators, and the special guest list was really good this year. But overall I had a really good time. I'm going to show you some of the stuff that I got, so we'll get to the reviews in a minute. We'll try to go through these as quickly as possible. I got the Chibi Robo, or Chibi Usagi, from Stan Sakai and Julie Sakai's graphic novel. It's really super soft and really freaking adorable. So we got that. I got this really awesome orange bird drawing from Paige Hazley Warren. Check out her Instagram, Rampaging Hazley. She's really a great artist, and really good stuff there. Bandai Namco was there. They didn't have the Ghibli stuff, which they had last year at both WonderCon and San Diego, but this year they had Nano. I guess they got the Nano Block license, and they've been making stuff. So I picked up the Pac-Man Machine, which is really cool. I also picked up Space Invaders, which is really cool. And they have a line of peanuts. Now, this is just Snoopy on the doghouse. Snoopy and Woodstock. The other characters don't come in with, there's blind bags for that. And the really cool one is I got a Godzilla from Godzilla 2016, which is really cool, and it you can see it kind of also is doubles as a display case, so that's really cool. I'll put those aside. There was one vendor that had these classic glasses. I had never seen the A&W bear before, but this was really cool. There was a pin, little shop of pins. They had a reproduction of the graffiti Rocketeer pin. I'm not a big pin person, but I used to have this back in the day, and it was really nice. I also got an Iron Giant pin that apparently glows in the dark. I haven't tested that out yet. They also had some stickers. They had some Dave Stevens Rocketeer. This is his logo art for our sake. With his dog. They had a Betty and Rocketeer. Got that. They also had Smokey the Bear, which was really cool. I really dug that. And they also had an Iron Giant, which is really cool because I love the Iron Giant. And then I got a bunch of books signed and stuff. Daniel Warren Johnson was there. He was a special guest. The really neat thing is he does ash cans of stuff that he can't sell, but he does for fun. So he did this, wrestling comic. He did Klingon Star Trek book. And once again, he doesn't sell these. They're donations because they're basically bootlegs. Then there's Old Man Skywalker, which is really cool. And then finally, Green Leader. I got that. So those are those. And apparently, I think he must have sold out of it. I apparently had a Pacific Rim comic. So I'll have to, next show he's at, I'll have to try to pick that up. I also picked up this print. It's really big. You can't see me now. From Dual Power Bomb, which is really cool. I'll set that down. And then Doc Shaner was there, and I got this lovely print for the Mary Marvel book recently. I was really excited about that. I really love that book a lot, and there's a hardcover of that coming out. So that's pretty much a lot of the stuff. I mean, I got a lot of books signed, and there were a lot of great creators there. And it was just really a good time. So definitely, check out. I know people took videos and stuff. I was just too busy taking, videos of the floor. I mean, it's pretty much the same standard floor that WonderCon always has. Like I said, it's really sad that the publishers haven't come back. Hopefully, this year's Comic-Con, they'll be back, more in force. So we'll keep our fingers crossed. It's just slowly, getting back to where it was. So it just takes time. So that's going to do it for the WonderCon show and tell portion of our show this week. I want to thank everybody, the Comic-Con International, who puts on WonderCon. They put on a great show. It's very organized. And everybody seemed to have a really good time. And not only the guests really had a good time. It just was a really good show. The panels were like a little thin, but they had a lot of good panels, especially being comic centric. So that really made my day, that it was very much a comic show in a lot of respects. Maybe not on the floor, but there was a fair amount of dealers that had comics. So. All right, let's get to this week's review. First up, we have Clobberin Time, number 1, written and drawn by Steve Skroke. So what it is, it's kind of, at least this first issue is very self-contained. So Bruce is visiting the Fantastic Four, and they're having breakfast, and then all of a sudden this villain comes in and transports Ben and Bruce to this alien world. And so what it is there's these group of like really small creatures that are they're basically planning for annihilation. And so there's these monsters, kind of not as big as kaijus, but monsters that are coming to destroy them, and they've captured their wizard. And so Hulk and the Thing have to basically beat up all these monsters and then rescue the wizard. It's really a blast. It's what I liked about it. It's kind of a one and done story, and I don't know if each issue is going to be like that, but it's like the adventures of Hulk and Thing, and that's what makes it fun. Hulk is pretty much, he's kind of classic Hulk, not super stupid, but at this point, Ben's the smart one of the team, and it's really a blast. I really love this book a lot. Skroke's artwork I really enjoy. He's really a great artist and a great writer. It's a beautiful book. It's just a ton of fun, which is really great. And you don't, honestly, it's very outside the Marvel box of average books that they've been doing lately. So this is really, I really recommend it. Like I said, the story's a blast. The artwork is gorgeous, and I can't wait to see what he does in the next few issues of this miniseries. Next up, we have Indigo Children, number 1, written by, with story by Kurt Pyers and Rockwell White, with the script by Kurt Pyers and artwork by Alex Dito. So what this is, there's a journalist, Donovan Price, who has been sent this tape of this kid who apparently has like powers or something, and he's being interviewed, and he says in his past life he's from Mars, and he's here to save the Earth from kind of killing itself, because they learn to control, not kill themselves. So that's kind of how the story starts. And so he takes his journey. He ends up in Russia, where there's these clues about these indigo children. And they've basically the kids of, Alexei, the one on the tape, he's been missing for like 15 years. So Donovan is getting these clues to go find him. And I don't want to give too much more away, but there's it's really a wonderful book. I was really surprised by this. the story's really good. There's a prologue, and then there's then the main story that kind of sets it up. And even though there's kind of a lot going on, I never got lost in the story, which is always good. And Pyers does a really good job of there's a lot of exposition, but he keeps the story moving. It's kind of like, somewhat of a murder mystery type setup with that. And, it's really a good story. And once again, there's not a big twist at the end. It's just more of like, okay, where are they gonna where are they gonna take this? And Deoto's artwork is really, really nice. I really like the artwork. It had a really kind of rough kinetic style to it, which really added a lot to the story. I really like this book. It's definitely worth checking out. I'm a big fan of Pyers' work, and this is really a good book. Definitely check it out. This was a really good book this week. Next up, we have It's Jeff, #1, written by Kelly Thompson with artwork by Gihiru. So this was a digital first, and now it's coming into print. And what I love about this, first of all, it's a brilliant all ages book, but it's basically silent. There's very little dialogue, so it's all told visually. And it's just about the adventures of this little shark, Jeff. And within, he ends up with different characters in the Marvel universe. Like, he goes to a swimming party, and he goes into the pool, and everybody's like, shark, and they all jump out, and Jeff's like, what? Oh. And there's one where he's snowboarding, or, he's not snowboarding, he's sledding, and he breaks his sled, so he steals Captain America's shield to sled on. It's just really freaking adorable. I really have to give it to both Thompson and Gier, this is really, it's almost beyond charming. It's just an absolute delight. Gier, art really complements the stories that him and Thompson are telling here. And it's just really, really a great book. I really love this. I really recommend it. It's a great all ages book. And even though, there's not a lot of dialogue, or there's very little dialogue, it's just really a great read. And that, this is absolutely wonderful. Hopefully, they'll eventually, it's great that they put this out as a comic, maybe put it out, because I know that they're doing more. Maybe after they do the next batch, they'll kind of collect them, like in that the more young adult format. But anyways, definitely pick this up this week. This was so amazing. I really loved it. Next up, we have The Unstoppable Doom Patrol, #1, written by Dennis Culver with artwork by Chris Burnham. So what this is, there's been many incarnations of the Doom Patrol over the years, and it started in the 60s. And the thing that I really like here is that Culver, because there's basically the original run, and then there's the Grant Morrison run, that really changed. It really got weird, but it was perfect because in a lot of ways the Doom Patrol's always been kind of an odd superhero team, and Grant really took that to the next level. But he always kept the basic structure of the original Arnold Drake structure of kind of weird superhero comics. And Dennis Culver really, he's really kind of bouncing off, the Grant Morrison run, but obviously very entrenched in the original Arnold Drake. So it's really a good, mix of all the different, kind of Doom Patrol stories that have kind of happened over the years. So it's the classic lineup. So you have Robot Man, Elastic Woman, and Negative Man. There's a new character, Beast Girl. I don't want to really say too much about her powers, but she's really, really cool. I really liked her a lot. She's a great new character. And the really great flip here is that Crazy Jane is playing basically the Chief. And it's really great. So the first issue, kind of starts off, Culver does a really smart thing. He he kind of introduces the character while they're kind of battling this science experiment that has escaped from this lab. And so it kind of gets you, for people that aren't maybe super familiar with the Doom Patrol, it really lets you kind of get to know each of the characters and know their powers, which is really a smart idea, especially because there are going to be people that have never read the Doom Patrol or not as familiar with them. So he did a really good job there. And he threw Batman into the mix because it happens in Gotham, which is kind of a neat little twist. And there's also shades of the Brotherhood of Evil being in there because it opens with Mala, the gorilla, and Brain. And then at the end, which I will not give away, we see General Zod show up, and there's something going on behind the scenes. Obviously, he's bringing in the Brotherhood of Evil to, be villains within this story, which is really, their best, it's their best villains that the Doom Patrol's always had. The other big win for this book is Burnham's artwork, which is really, really good. I'm a really big fan, and he does a really nice job here of, it's kind of a superhero book, but kind of not, and his style really fits it quite well because it's just, it's kind of it's not a straight superhero book, and Burnham really does a good job of kind of making it a little like off kilter, like it's not, like that standard superhero artwork, which really it would not have worked very well with Culver's story. Culver and Burnham are really doing a great job. This is a really solid first issue. I really liked it. I'm a big fan of the Doom Patrol, and it's definitely worth checking out. I really enjoyed it. I really recommend this book. It's a lot of fun. I really enjoyed it. So definitely check it out. Next up, we have The Ambassadors #1, written by Mark Millar with artwork by Frank Quietly. So it's been a while since we've actually seen interior artwork from Frank Quietly. So that's a treat unto itself. So basically what the premise here is what if there was someone who gifted 6 people in the 8 billion world with superpowers, and that's the basic setup here. The only thing I will kind of forewarn you, it's definitely this whole first issue is exposition and setup. There, it's explaining kind of what's going on, but then it doesn't explain everything. It gives you the basic structure, but there's obviously moving parts behind the scene that we don't know about yet. So take that into account with this first issue. It's really a setup issue. I like the idea. I wouldn't say that I was sold on the story in the case because it is very exposition heavy, but I think it's a good idea. We'll kind of see where it goes. The second issue is going to be really seal the deal for this. Millar for me is hot and cold. This one, I can't quite decide yet. Not that it's good or bad. It's just it's too early to tell. But obviously you have Frank Quietly's artwork, which is really just he's a brilliant artist. So people are going to pick it up for that. I think it's got a good premise. We'll ultimately see where that premise goes. That's going to be the key with this book. Next up, we have Deadboy Detectives #4, written by Pornsak Pichot, with guest artist Javier Rodriguez. And then the last page is done by a regular artist, Jeff Stokely, on the pencils, and Craig Taffler inking. Stokely's only doing the last page on this. So I do want to have a bit of a warning. There's a bit of a trigger warning with this issue. Because we learn Jai's backstory of her, where she was born in the U.S. and then she went to back home to Taiwan, and then her parents brought her back, where she really struggled in school, and there's bullying, and there's also kind of a school shooting. So I really want to just kind of forewarn people, be a little cautious if that. I will say that Pichette really did it very tastefully and everything. So I just really wanted to say that up front. Now, with that being said, I really like that we got to see Jai's backstory, because we know about the two main kids, but we really don't know a lot about the other kids. And this is really a good issue that kind of continues the story that's been going on with the mystery Asian monster. But we're also, it's really good that we kind of learn about the new characters. And I really like this issue a lot. I'm really loving this series. I think Pichette is doing a really wonderful job on this book. And like I said, there's a lot we learn in this issue about not only Jai, but kind of a little bit more of what's going on. And there's some secrets that are unlocked this issue. Rodriguez is art. He's really a good artist. I really enjoyed him as a guest artist. I mean, I really love Stokely's artwork, but Rodriguez does a really nice job here, and it actually fits since it's kind of a flashback, more of a Jai story. So having this guest artist come in actually worked really well for this particular story. I still recommend this book. I'm really digging it, and it'll be interesting to see where Pichot takes it towards the end. This is really good. Really one of the better Sandman Universe Presents books. I am really enjoying this a lot. Next up, we have Local Man number 2, written by Tony Fleece and Tim Seeley. So the present artwork is done by Tony Fleece, and then there's the superhero kind of 90s backup story that's drawn by Tim Seeley. So that's how they're kind of breaking it all down. So this issue we have Jack, who is Cross Jack. He's been kicked out of the team. He's going back home to live, and of course his parents are kind of jerks. And so he ultimately, at the beginning of this issue, he gets arrested for Hodag has been killed. And of course, they go to Jack because like they were enemies. But Hodag, which is his real name, Jeremy, they kind of know that Jack didn't do it, but they still have to bring him in for questioning. And so what really is great in this particular issue is we get to learn a little bit more about Hodag, Jeremy, from his mom, because, they're from the same town. And so he's also being monitored by this robot. It's kind of like an ankle bracelet, but it follows him around to make sure he's not allowed to be Crotchak. He's not allowed to be a superhero. And so Jeremy's mom teaches him a trick to how to make the thing kind of go away with a certain code. And, that's kind of the setup, is that, Jack is now going to try, he really wants to solve the murder of Jeremy. And so that's where we get in this issue. I really like this book. It's kind of a mix, obviously, of the 90s, but it's really, it's like the 90s is the past. So it's this present story with Jack. And also the backup with the team and everything, we start learning about like kind of what has happened and how Jack has kind of ended up here. And that's really what I like about that backup. And once again, I'm a big fan of Tony Fleece, and the main story, the artwork is really, really nice. I'm really liking it. And Seeley's doing the 90s stuff is really a lot of fun, because it's basically like 90s Image Comics visually. And it's just really a fun book. I'm really, really digging it. It's definitely still worth checking out. It's really a good book. Next up, we have Venom Lethal Protector number 1, written by David Michelin with artwork by Farid Kamari. So David Michelin is one of the co-creators of Venom, and this story is Eddie Brock, coming back to New York. The typical, I hate Spider-Man, I'm gonna find him and beat him up because I hate him. But he ends up stumbling onto this attack on a shield installation, and Silver Sable is her team is defending it from the guys. And so it's so that's a basic premise. And then of course they want Venom to join the team because he kind of saves the day and helps them. Look, here's the thing. If you're a Venom fan, you're probably going to buy this book. The question is going to come down to if you're a marginal Venom fan, or you want to see a Venom's if you haven't really read too many Venom. I mean, the good thing is, I mean, it is fairly new reader friendly. There's a whole, thing in the beginning. It tells you how, Venom came about. I think everybody knows at this point. It's a decent story. It didn't necessarily blow me away or anything, but it was decent in the end. I mean, it was an okay read. Kamari's artwork is nice. It's really pretty. I think it's kind of an average book. It's not good it's not good or great. It's not terrible and unreadable. It's kind of okay. It's a nice Venom story. And if that is what you're looking for, then this is your book. But I think if you're looking for a little more meat on the bone, I don't know that this book is really going to convince you, turn you into a huge Venom fan. But, it's okay in the end. And finally this week we have Detective Comics number 1070, written by Ram V, with artwork by Stefano Raphael. And then there's the backup Mr. Freeze story written by Simon Spurr, with artwork by Casper Weingard. So this is really continuing. This is the post, Batman has battled the Asmer demon and kind of got his butt kicked. So now he's recovering, but he's still trying to kind of figure out what's going on and why these investors are, these overseas investors are coming, and why, Mr. Freeze and then Solomon Gray, what is kind of going on. Then there's this whole underground thing. First of all, you can't really just jump into this book. Ram V is really telling, this is a second part of a continuing story. And you really have to be kind of continuously reading, he's developing this big story arc. And so in that respect, don't go out and buy this issue by itself. Go back and start from Ram V's beginning. I do like that Ram V is really, this is kind of a detective story. I mean, there is action, all that stuff, which you kind of have to, balance the two. But I think having it as like a detective story really gets back to what, Batman kind of started at, is, the Dark Knight detective. And Ram V is doing a really nice job. I did like Raphael's artwork. It's nice. It does, gets the job done. He does a really nice Solomon Grundy, which is always a plus. I mean, who doesn't love Solomon Grundy? He's a really great character. But we do get introduced to, there's this mysterious team, Vigil, that is coming into play. We really don't know much about them. They're introduced to Barbara Gordon. And so we'll kind of see where he's taken that. So once again, this is kind of where we're just part of a continuing story. The Mr. Freeze backup by Spurrier and Weingard's really nice. It's the second part of 3. I'm really liking these backup stories where they're not necessarily continuity to the main story, but they, Mr. Freeze has been in the main story, so it's kind of dovetailing into that. So I'm really enjoying that backup, cause it's a nice complement to the main story. So definitely I'm still a big fan of what Ram V is doing on Detective, and I still think it's well worth checking out. That's going to do it this week. So hopefully, if you lived in the LA area, you got a chance to go to WonderCon. I saw a bunch of people, had a really good time. As always, public service announcement. I get all my comics at Pulp Fiction Comics, Long Beach, California. Ryan Skinner runs a great store there. He's the owner. There's Eduardo, there's Annie, there's Wendy, there's Derek. It's a really good store. They offer discounts on the pull service. You set it up through Pullbox. That way you don't see all these books I don't miss because Ryan pulls them because I order them. And it's a really great store. They also offers discounts, 30% off trades and hardcovers every single day. They have a great, really good manga selection at 20% off every day. It's really a good store, and I had the pleasure of taking Ryan to WonderCon. He hadn't been to a con in a while. He had a really good time. He met a lot of creators, so hopefully there'll be some more signings and guests at the store. He's able to network, which is really good for the store and for the community. It's always good to have local creators come in to the store. It's fun for everybody, and it's really a great store. I love it. It's my hometown store. It's always really support your local comic shop. They're the backbone of the industry. Make sure you pick up your books on a timely basis, because they have to pay for them before you get them. So it's really important that you whatever you order, pick them up. Make sure you pick them up on a timely basis. And as always, we end our show with be kind. Being kind doesn't cost anything. Just being kind to each other it's good for you. It's good for everybody else. And it's just really one of those things. I saw a lot of, I have to say, I saw a lot of great kindness at WonderCon, on many different levels. It's kind of crowded and stuff. You bump into, oh, hey, I'm sorry. It's simple things like that. Just being kind to other humans. It's not rocket science, folks. But being kind is just good all around. That's going to do it this week. Thanks for tuning in. Hope the people that went to WonderCon had a good time as I did. It was really, really a good show. And that's going to do it this week. We'll be back. Thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Please share these videos with your friends and family. And like I said, I'll try to get the videos that I recorded at WonderCon hopefully up soon. It's just really tough, because I have to kind of somewhat edit them and get them all ready and everything. So please be patient with that. But in the meantime, thanks for watching. Thanks for subscribing. And thanks for watching. That's going to do it this week. This is Steven from PopCultureMaven.com signing off. Take care of yourselves, be kind to each other, and thanks for watching again. Bye-bye.